Hi, I'm Erica Brooke, and welcome to today's segment of Health and Wellness. Today we are in Holland, PA, at the home of Crystal Sabalske. Crystal is a professional organizer. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for coming.
Great. To get started, basically just wanted to find out, how did you get started as a professional organizer, and how long have you been working in the field?
I have been working as a professional organizer for 12 and a half years. I started my business in 2002 after I read an article in Philadelphia Magazine about someone who was organizing closets. And I was working in corporate America as a project manager in downtown Philadelphia. And I was organizing files, I was organizing events, I was organizing basically a whole bunch of data and projects. And I thought, wow, someone actually gets paid to organize stuff. That sounds fun. So I went home and I told my fiance, now husband, I said, I'm going to be a professional organizer. And he looked at me and he said, well, who is going to pay you to do that? And I was like, did you just challenge me? So basically I started volunteering my services in the afternoons and evenings, like after work hours, and organizing people's offices, other people that I worked with. And then a few of them hired me to work in their home. And I eventually landed on Home and Garden Television, and then that got me busy enough so that I could quit my job in corporate America, and I've been clutter shrinking ever since.
Wow, that's exciting. So what are most of your clients' needs focus on?
Most of my clients are overwhelmed for one reason or another. They either have too much stuff, or they think they have not enough space, they don't know where to start, they've tried to get organized and they've failed. So they basically call me when they get to that point, or it's some kind of life transition. They have an elderly relative moving in, or someone has passed away, they're moving, change of jobs, new baby, something like that. So they'll call me in to basically help them get started and figure out the whole process of getting organized. I work in homes, offices, and relocation, so all aspects involving that, but most of the work I do involves around what I call like drop zones or typical storage areas, like closets, basements, attics, desktops, paperwork, and so I work with them through those.
Great. There's a lot of research that points out that to show that people who are more organized can actually live a healthier lifestyle. Could you tell me some of the potential health benefits of living a more organized lifestyle?
Well, there's the physical aspect of not tripping over clutter. So not injuring yourself because you're tripping over all your stuff. There's also, you don't want it falling on top of your head either when you open a closet. So there's the physical aspect of you can actually be injured by your own clutter. Then there's the environmental aspect of the more stuff you have, the harder it is to clean and the more dust it accumulates. So you might have dust and mold issues if you have a lot of clutter. And then there's basically the benefit of having less stress, because by getting organized, you'll have better relationships. You can save money and you can save time because you won't be looking for duplicates. You won't be missing appointments. You won't be losing money because you forgot to call a client, or you didn't get a promotion because your boss thinks you're disorganized. So by saving money and time and improving your relationships, you're reducing your stress.
Seems like there are a lot of benefits to getting more organized. So you had been telling me that actually you and your whole family actually have certain food allergies. And that you actually organize your kitchen in a particular manner in order to
survive.
Right. Would you like to briefly tell me a little bit about your family's food allergies, and then take me on a little tour of the kitchen?
Absolutely. Well, there are 4 of us: my husband, myself, my daughter, and my son. My son's allergies are the most severe. He has 8 food allergies. One of them is airborne. He has 2 or 3 that could cause anaphylaxis. My daughter has 3, and then I have gluten issues because I have celiac disease, and then I have some other allergies and sensitivities as well. And my husband's are just thankfully sensitivities. So between the 4 of us, we have 19 of them that we're working around.
So Crystal, how about you take me on a tour of your kitchen and show me how you keep it organized?
Well, like I said, we're dealing with 19 food allergies. One of them being gluten, which is my issue. Gluten basically can be found in wheat, barley, oats, and rye, and any derivatives thereof. So I tend to keep my gluten-free items down here on my own shelf. I have many. Yeah, I usually have to go to some specialty stores to find them. So when I can find them, I tend to stockpile. On the bottom shelf, we have baking stuff that's safe for everyone. As I mentioned, I can't eat flour because flour tends to like get everywhere. We actually keep flour in an entirely separate cabinet up here so that we don't have any cross-contamination issues. Also, because of that, I don't tend to do baking in my house. My husband does most of that. And then we have regular pasta, and which everyone can eat but me, and items that are safe for everyone. So this is essentially, you know, most of this is safe for me.
Okay.
In this cabinet, we have cereals. Everything that my son can eat everywhere in the house is always on the left-hand side. My gluten-free cereal, I just combine it. I like to mix cereals anyway. So I have it labeled and I have a red dot on it so that we know that it's not safe for somebody in the house. And in this case, it would be my son. We also have items up here. This is gluten-free, not for my son, oatmeal. And then we have oatmeal that's in here. And just as a double precaution, I actually, when I take it out of the packaging, I actually will then even go further and write okay for Ryan, or, you know, okay for R on here, just in case there's ever a babysitter or something and they drop it on the floor.
Where do you find all of your containers at?
Well, I tend to find ones that are budget friendly.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I got these at Target, but I can tell you for sure that these came from the dollar store. I believe this one came from the Container Store, and these come from IKEA.
Mm-hmm.
So we often, you know, change the foods we eat because ingredients are changing or we're trying new foods. And so, you know, I try to be generic with Cheerios and Bran Flakes,
Right.
and keep it like that, just in case we change and put, you know, something else in there. But that's how we organize our cereals. Now this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. We have snacks that are safe for everyone but me that are not gluten-free on the top shelf. So they're all here and labeled in case we ever have a babysitter or somebody that comes in. The portable snacks for my children are on the second shelf. These are snacks for the kids and applesauce. And then I have them delineated by child. So everything for my son, as I said, is always on the left. That way, if we're preparing foods, we prepare them on the left. That way, if I make a sandwich, I don't have to say, oh, wait, whose sandwich was this? So his stuff is always on the left. He is highly allergic to nuts. My daughter likes to eat nuts in granola bars and peanut butter, so I actually have her foods contained in something with a lid. It's also labeled with her name. And then I have the extra red dot as just an extra precaution. That's like 3 steps saying, you know, this is stuff that's only for Emma. If it's okay for both of them, then I put it in the middle. Applesauce, for example, I also have red dots on those because my son and my husband are allergic to apples. Down on the next shelf, we have foods that are generally safe for everybody except for this box of, I guess what he would refer to as evil peanut butter. It's nut butters that are not safe for my son. So I have it labeled. Again, I have a lid on it, and then I also have all the red stickers on them. And then there are some nut butters over here, like soy nut butter and sunflower butter, that I have in a thing that says safe for everyone. And then down here, I have snacks that we can all eat. That's why it says gluten-free and safe for everyone. This is great. You know, if we have company over and I tell them, you know, run inside and just grab a bag of chips or something, they know they can grab them off this shelf. So I kind of have like a 3-process system. I label things, I put red dots on things, and then I contain the things that are really not safe.
About how long would you say it takes you to do the extra work? About how much extra time would you say you put into it?
Initially, I mean, unfortunately, the allergy list keeps growing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as of a few months ago, we were only dealing with 17, and now we're dealing with 19 allergies. So whatever system you use has to be flexible,
Right.
in case things change. And you know, sometimes you'll stop liking your food, or you have to read the ingredients every single time you buy it. I mean, there used to be like 1 candy bar that my son could eat, and now it actually says may contain nuts, despite the fact there aren't any nuts in the ingredients. So now he can't even eat that. So you're always checking labels and you're always revising the system, and that's why I don't recommend spending a lot of money on containers, because you may end up throwing them out because they might not fit what you need anymore.
Right.
So getting back to, we keep everything on the left for my son and everything on the right for my daughter. These are items that they would take to camp or to some kind of sports practice or to school. So ideally I would like everything to be one color for each child, but sometimes you just can't find the containers you need like that. So everything for my son is blue and it's on the left. or it has a stereotypical boy pattern like a stroller or a skateboard or something. My daughter tends to be a little more colorful, but everything is on the right, and for the most part it's pink, green, and purple. Down here we're following the same system of everything on the left or the right, and then I get these washable labels. This cup is probably, truthfully, I don't even know, maybe 3 years old, and I replaced the inside parts on it. And you can get them from various companies like Mabel's Labels and Stickers U, and you can order machine washable. They can go through the dishwasher, they can go through the washing machine, labels that will stay on there. So this one's a little bit beaten up, but I think after 4 years it's held up pretty well. And I send those to school with the kids. And then I even have gone a step farther, and I have stickers that actually say what he's allergic to written here, so that if this water bottle was ever left anywhere on a field, it wouldn't get mixed up with anybody else. I don't know, Ryan's a pretty common name, but I doubt anybody has all those allergies and is also named Ryan. This again is just going, I'm a little bit label crazy, but I have these forks that also have the sticker on them, so should he ever drop his fork at school, and somebody else should drop their fork as well, we know which one is his, so I would hope he wouldn't eat off a fork that was on the floor, but you never know with kids, so this way he wouldn't get it mixed up with anybody else's. I tend to buy silverware and dishes and I guess cutting boards that are glass or stainless steel, so that I can put them in the dishwasher, so that I don't need to worry about cross-contamination issues. Plastic, when it's heated at high temperatures, leaches chemicals. So I tend not to put that in the dishwasher, and therefore I'm a little hesitant to wash it and think that it's completely clean. Like, for example, on a day if my daughter should come home with some peanut butter that she's eaten at school, and then she throws her dishes in the sink, I just wouldn't want them to get mixed up. Now, we're lucky, we're fortunate that I came up with this left and right system so that I can wash my son's dishes on the left and wash my daughter's on the right, and wash everybody else's on the right. But some families don't have that option, like they might only have one sink, so if that's the case, then I would pick maybe like a little wash basin or a very large bowl, so that when you have large parts, or little parts from water bottles or forks or things that you need to hand wash, that you can separate them out that way. On this side of the kitchen, they take 2 water bottles a day to either school or swim practice. So again, I wash his on the left, hers on the right. There are chances that, at some point during the day, I don't know, maybe her friend slipped her combos with a peanut in it or something. So I will wash her stuff in the sink on the right, his on the left, and then I'll hang them up on this dryer on the left and right. I also have 2 different bottle brushes that I use for their dishes. I tend not to use sponges, because even though you can microwave them and put them in your dishwasher, I just feel like they spread germs. So these bottle brushes actually have removable heads, so that you can put them through the dishwasher, but you can also replace the heads on them. So pink is for her, even though she's not a fan of pink, and blue is for him. You've got to go with whatever options. Over here we have our utensils, and a lot of these are plastic. So because of that, again, I worry about cross-contamination issues. It was really easy finding black stuff, so that's kind of everybody's but mine. And then gluten-free, we kind of went with whatever color was left, so I have some blue and purple and white in here. But we know that black and the cream-colored spatulas are for regular foods, I would say, and everything else that's left over is for the gluten-free stuff. And one of the other tips, it's not the most environmentally friendly, but it doesn't happen that often, is when we are preparing things, like let's say I'm making a fruit salad, we have 5 fruit allergies in my family. So it would be ridiculous for me to take out 5 different cutting boards to make everybody their own separate fruit salad. So if that's the case, I'll just grab a cheap paper plate, and I will, chop up the fruit and then throw away the plate. And likewise, if my daughter has friends over and my son isn't home, but they decide that they want to eat peanut butter and jelly, then she can take one of these plates, and then when they're finished, it goes right in the trash, so I don't have to worry about everybody coming through with little peanut butter hands all over the place. One of our most severe allergies is actually shellfish. I'm allergic to shellfish, but my son has an airborne allergy to shellfish, so we just don't keep any of that in the house at all. Keeping cleaner on your counter is not everyone's ideal, but bleach and water is one of the only safe remedies for actually dealing with cross-contamination. You can use regular dish soap and warm water for your hands, but hand sanitizer is not enough to get rid of food proteins. And you can't just use, for surfaces, you can't just use soap and water. So you need to use like normal temperature, room temperature bleach and water mix, because if you actually heat the water, then it actually minimizes the effects of the bleach. So I just keep that here as a reminder that after we're done using, you know, a surface or preparing foods, that we have to kind of spray it down. And I always make my son's food first, and then clean up, and then we make everybody else's food. Likewise, he also has a designated seat at the table. So after we're done eating, we clean his spot first, and then we clean everybody else's so that we're not spreading germs around. I have gluten-free items right here, and then we have fruits and vegetables. Unfortunately, due to space, we have to mix them in the same drawer, which is, for humidity purposes, isn't always ideal. But down at the bottom, we have fruits designated by child. And then over here, again, because we have so many allergies, I can't separate and have a separate section for all 4 of us. So I've put stickers on the items that are in the refrigerator, red meaning that you cannot eat it, and then I put the initial of the person that's not allowed to eat this. So this is blueberry jelly. My daughter's allergic to blueberries, so I put her initial on that one. My son's allergic to mangoes. I put his initial on this one. And I've kind of just dealt with the refrigerator the rest of the way down. And if it does not have a sticker on it, it should mean that we're all okay to eat it. And then we, last but not least, we have our freezer. There's not much in it right now, but I have my own gluten-free drawer just like I do over in the pantry. And these are just gluten-free items, so my family pretty much knows it's off limits. As a general rule, a lot of gluten-free foods do have tree nuts in them as a substitute, like they'll be made with almond flour or something, which means that my son can't eat it. So he knows that if it's designated as gluten-free and it's specifically mine, even though it might be safe for him, as a general rule, we just don't eat it. And then, you know, you just have your fruits and veggies. I don't think there's anything in here otherwise that he can't eat, just because it gets a little complicated.
Before we go, do you have any recommendations that you would give to parents who have children with food allergies?
As a general rule, I would say that if you know somebody is coming over, to talk to them about your allergies and the severity of the allergies, especially if you're talking to someone who is not familiar with food allergies, like has never lived through it. I had someone bring donuts to my house, and they're peanut butter donuts, strawberry donuts, and apple donuts in a box with just a vanilla donut. And the logic was, well, he can eat the vanilla donut. Well, he can't, because it's in the same box as the peanut, the strawberry, and the apple, and the same person that grabbed those donuts used the same gloves. So a lot of people don't understand, like they think they're being helpful by bringing food over, but they don't really understand that not only can they not be near it, but certain children can't be in the same room with someone that's eaten it or touched it. And so it's particularly if you have like an airborne or an anaphylactic reaction to a particular food, those people should know, you know, don't feed your kids peanut butter and jelly in the car, because then they're going to come over and contaminate all your toys. So I would say educating people, particularly caregivers, babysitters, grandparents, that would be the first thing. The second, like I said, is to make your system flexible, because unfortunately allergies change, hopefully for the better, but your needs change. Sometimes you'll just want to rearrange your kitchen, or someone will stop liking a food. So I would not spend a lot of money on various containers. The dollar store and Target and Walmart can usually take care of whatever you need. We have inhalers here, and we have Benadryl here, a brochure on anaphylaxis, and then we have our EpiPens here. There are 2 plus a trainer. And then I just have a general form for anybody that comes to the house. On the back I have insurance information and phone numbers, and then on the front I have a list of allergies and any daily medications that the kids take. So this of course needs to be updated, but it's right here where it's accessible. And then obviously anybody who comes over that's taking care of the children should be trained on how to use EpiPens and when it's needed, and the benefits of using Benadryl and inhalers if you have those as well. I also have the red stickers available here for whenever new foods come in and I have to label them. So I make sure that obviously your medications are up to date, and that sheet is up to date, that you have, you know, all these medicines in here. Someone doesn't take it out and use it and then forget to put it back. The kitchen particularly should always have a working phone. A lot of people don't have landlines anymore, and so they just use cell phones. But whenever you have a child that's eating or anybody with food allergies, you should always have a phone available.
Well, thank you, Crystal, for being here today. I know I learned a lot, and I'm sure our audience did as well. It was very enlightening.